If you have any if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat. Piper will be moderating and we'll be able to answer any questions for you. I'm not sure if we also have on the call Teresa Escobedo, who is the, oh yeah, I do see her. She is the program manager for the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs Civic Art collection. And so she is joining us today as well. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and share screen and we will begin. Okay, so today we are here for the first artist info session for 5 separate open calls for civic art for the International Central Processor at the new International Terminal at George Bush Intercontinental Airport, also referred to as ITRP. So this is our agenda for the day. Sorry, let me go to full screen really quickly. This is our agenda for the day. We will be going over the project details and answering any questions and giving you more information on how to stay in touch. So the City of Houston Civic Art Program is overseen by the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, for short MOCA. There was a civic art ordinance established in 1999 that dedicates 1.75% of budget for eligible city-funded construction projects to create new artworks or conserve existing artworks in the city's civic art collection. The current collection includes 600 plus pieces encompassing a wide array of media forms and visual arts disciplines. MOCA develops policies and initiatives that foster an environment in which art and culture flourish for the sharing and benefit of all residents and visitors. The primary objective of the Civic Art Program is to enhance the urban environment through the inclusion of art designed elements in new municipal facilities, contributing to a sense of community pride. We at the Houston Arts Alliance are a local arts and cultural organization whose principal work is to implement the City of Houston's vision, values, and goals for its arts, grant making, and civic art investments. HA's work is conducted through contracts with the City of Houston, overseen by the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. And so HAA and MOCA work very closely to facilitate and oversee these public art projects. We also execute privately funded special projects that meet the needs of the arts community, such as disaster preparation, research on the state of the arts in Houston, and temporary public art projects that energize neighborhoods. The Houston Airport Systems is the City of Houston's Department of Aviation, and it includes 3 locations. It includes the George Bush Intercontinental Airport, IAH, which this current opportunity that we have will be located, William P. Hobby Airport, and the Ellington Airport, EFD Houston Spaceport. Alton, at this time, I'd invite you to talk about the airport system if you would like to.
Thank you, Grace, and good morning, everyone. Just to start with, we're super excited about this project. This is very important for both the airport and the City of Houston and the entire state of Texas, for that matter. We're doing a much needed expansion on the international terminal, which will be at our George Bush Airport. As any of you who are flown in or out of Houston know, that George Bush is our international hub here. It is the gateway to Latin America. We also have Hobby Airport, which is our more regional airport, which was just voted the first 5-star airport on the North American continent. So we're very excited about that. And specifically, the art was credited with helping it achieve that status. And then, of course, Ellington Field, like Grace said, just something to know that on average, we average about 1 million passengers a week pass through our door. So this is kind of unparalleled exposure for any artist to be in this collection. And then also to consider, many of our passengers never leave our airport, especially at Bush. They're connecting flights. So for many of the passengers, this is their only chance to see kind of what it is that Houston has to offer, what it is that Texas has to offer. and to get to experience this incredible art collection. So we're looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. Okay, so to that, we're going to get into the project overview and the art locations that are specific to this open call. Again, there are 5 separate locations, 5 separate requests for qualifications, and 5 separate applications. So the Civic Art Program of the City of Houston's Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs is requesting the submission of qualifications for artists or artist teams to design, fabricate, and install major permanent works of art at the new international terminal at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. One artist or artist team will be selected for each location of this commission opportunity. The commission artwork will be on display and will be accessioned into the City of Houston's Civic Art Collection. So as we go through this presentation, we are going to speak on the departure facade, the departure level garage wall installation, arrivals level garage wall installation, arrivals lobby artwork, elevator bank, and the arrivals pet area sculpture. So to begin, we will start with the departure facade passenger drop-off area. Again, this is a request for qualifications from artists. So the project overview, all traveling passengers will visit the new International Terminal Departures Hall, and the facade artworks will be a major focal point with views throughout the hall as well as from the exterior passenger drop-off level. This opportunity seeks a static suspended form, framed or unframed, that responds to natural and ambient light within the new departure halls. The artworks located in 3 specific areas of the departure halls will be considered a single cohesive and coordinated artwork. Due to the prominence in the departure halls, the installation should reflect the welcoming nature of Houston as a city with unique culture and sense of place, celebrating and evoking the rich and diverse local fabric that makes Houston inspiring for residents and visitors alike. These thematic influence include, but are not limited to, Houston ecology, economy, innovation, recreation, diversity, food culture, and robust arts culture. Again, the departure facade passenger drop-off area at the International Central Processor, ICP, is this particular opportunity's budget is $857,000. These budgets for all of the projects are all inclusive. Which includes, but is not limited to, design proposals, artist fees, any design, engineering, permitting, insurance that you would be required to carry, lighting, any kind of software if the work is technological in nature, studio and project administration, travel, fabrication, all materials, any installation, and any required documentation. And so as artists move into really the proposal and budgeting phase, they have to think of the start to finish for the project, encompassing this and included in this budget. For all of the projects, and you're going to see this 5 times, all of these 5 locations, the deadline for the request for qualifications is Monday, April 11th at 5 p.m. Again, the location is at the George Bush Intercontinental Airport. And the eligibility for this application is artists living in and working in the United States, and then North, Central, and South America. Artists outside of the continental United States are eligible to apply, but they must have US representation. And further into the slideshow will explain what that means to you all. So we're just gonna go through some images about each location. So again, this is the departures facade. And in this area, one artist or artist team will be asked to respond to 3 corresponding areas within the location. So we will see this as 3 pieces, 1 cohesive artwork. Again, these are just some site plans to give you a different visual of the location. Excuse me. So the second location is the departures level garage wall installation. Traveling passengers will experience the artwork as they enter the departing passengers drop-off area for international travel. Excuse me. The artwork will be a major focal point of the passenger experience with views from the exterior drop-off area as well as from the departure halls. This opportunity seeks a large wall installation that reflects the inspiration and innovation of Houston. Due to the prominence of this location at the international terminal, the artwork should celebrate and reflect the rich and diverse local fabric that makes Houston a unique place. Again, the thematic influences include Houston ecology, economy, recreation, diversity, food culture, and the arts culture here. The budget for the departure levels garage wall installation is $600,000. Again, this budget is all inclusive. It's a turnkey budget, includes but not limited to the artist design proposal, any artist fees, designing of the artwork, engineering, permitting, insurance, any project administration, traveling that you might have to do if you're working outside of the Houston area, fabrication, materials, and installation. And I'm going to say this 5 times. The deadline for this location is Monday, April 11th at 5 p.m. Again, the location and eligibility for this location are the same as the last. Here we have photos and site plans of the location. The third location is the arrival levels garage wall installation. International travelers arriving in Houston passengers will experience the arrivals level garage wall installation as they exit the terminal and await for their transportation. This opportunity seeks a large wall installation that reflects the inspiration and innovation of Houston. As one of the first artworks arriving passengers will encounter, the installation should reflect the welcoming nature of Houston as a city with a unique culture and sense of place, celebrating and evoking the rich and diverse local fabric that makes Houston inspiring for residents and visitors alike. So far, these past 3 have the same kind of thematic feel that we are looking for visitors to come and be at the airport and experience Houston, maybe in this small window of time. The arrivals level garage installation, the budget for this location is $600,000. Again, it's an all-inclusive budget. And again, the deadline for this location is April 11th at 5 p.m. Here is a photo of just kind of a rendering of that location. Another site plan. And then we have arrivals lobby artwork, the elevator bank. It's the 4th location that we have an opportunity for. International travelers arriving in Houston will experience the lobby artwork as they make their way through the passenger pickup area. This opportunity seeks a large 2-dimensional wall-mounted artwork commission. As one of the first artworks arriving pre-cleared passengers will encounter, the artwork should reflect the welcoming nature of Houston as a city with a unique culture and sense of place, celebrating and evoking the rich and diverse local fabric that makes Houston inspiring for residents and visitors alike. And then the 5th, the arriving lobby artwork, elevator bank, the budget for this location is $157,000. Again, this budget is a turnkey, all-inclusive budget from design to fabrication and to construction and installation with a deadline of Monday, April 11th. Here is an image of this location, or a rendering rather. All of these locations are currently under construction. So the final location is the arrivals pet area sculpture. This is going to be an exterior piece. International travelers arriving in Houston will experience the Arrivals Pet Area sculpture as they exit the terminal and await their transportation in the outdoor lounge area or pet relief area. This opportunity seeks a large-scale freestanding sculpture commission. Again, this will be one of the first artworks arriving passengers will encounter, so the artwork should reflect the welcoming nature of Houston as a city with a unique culture and sense of place, celebrating and evoking the rich and diverse local fabric that makes Houston inspiring for residents and visitors alike. This artwork's budget is $334,000. Again, all-inclusive turnkey budget, and the deadline is April 11th at 5 p.m. Here is a larger photo of the first one. Some site plans. These site plans will be very important for artists who move into the request for proposals phase. At this time, we're just sharing information with you. We're not asking anybody to propose any kind of idea right now for any of the locations. We're strictly asking for your request for qualifications. So in order for the artwork to be accessioned into the City of Houston Civic Art Collection, there are certain project requirements. These project requirements, the panel looks at these project requirements when selecting artists to move forward into through the process. So artworks should be family friendly, suitable for public display to a diverse international audience. Artworks must be free of safety hazards. They must meet or exceed the City of Houston and Houston Airport System's ADA requirements. Artwork should be resistant to graffiti and vandalism and require minimal maintenance. Artwork must have an expected lifespan of at least 20 years, and they must make a significant artistic addition to the city's civic art collection. Eligibility for these 5 artwork locations. Eligibility is open to all artists and artist teams living and working in the continental United States over 18 years of age. Artists from elsewhere in the Americas, in the living in North, Central, or South America are eligible to apply with stateside representation. Again, we will define what that means later in the presentation. Artists must provide proof of representation in the application process, and preference will be given to artists not currently represented in the City of Houston's Civic Art Collection. For representatives interested in applying on behalf of artists, galleries, agents, and representatives submitting applications for more than one artist must submit individual applications for each artist. And if multiple artists are included on the same application, the submission will be marked as ineligible. The following are not eligible to apply: artists currently under contract for City of Houston Civic Art Project, City of Houston employees, elected city official, Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs staff and their immediate family, Houston Arts Alliance employees, board members, advisory board members, and their immediate family. Applicants who do not meet all eligibility criteria or application requirements will be withdrawn from consideration. During the RFQ process in Submittable, we ask for these 5 application items to be uploaded. So we ask for an artist resume or CV with including relevant information for any other key team members. We ask that 3 pages maximum for an artist CV per artist or team member. We also ask for an artist bio with 250 words maximum. And then we ask for a statement of intent or concept brief. A statement of intent is a declaration of your plans and your ideas for a specific project. The statement of intent is your chance to demonstrate your personality, professionalism, qualifications, and enthusiasm for a project, and express why your work would be appropriate for this project. We also ask for an artist statement of a maximum of 500 words. Oh, sorry, my cat's up here. An artist statement is a written description of your work that helps the audience access or understand your artistic work. The purpose of the artist statement is to inform, add context, and present process and conceptual ideas to the viewer, which may include sources, ideas, and materials in your current practice. And then we ask for digital images of completed artworks. Again, this is a request for qualifications. We are not asking you to submit any kind of proposals for any of the locations. The panel wants to see your work and your professional portfolio up to this date to make sure that you can qualify to go to the next step, which is the request for proposals. So applicants should submit up to 10 images in JPEG format only, with each image no larger than 2 megabytes. Within the submittable platform, you will be able to include your name, the title, the year completed, dimensions, material, if the artwork was commissioned by anyone, and then a budget or price as it's applicable for each image provided. We only accept applications via Submittable, so you will have to go to submittable.com and create a profile if you do not already have one. It's free to do. And then you can access the call via Submittable and submit through there. If anyone emails us their application items, it will not qualify. So you will not be eligible for review unless you submit through Submittable. So the selection process is that qualifications will be reviewed by a panel of 3 arts professionals and subject to the following criteria. Oops. The artist's work demonstrates a unique voice, perspective, or aesthetic. The artist's submission demonstrates the ability to create site-specific artwork which responds to the history, culture, and identity of the surrounding community. And the artist's work demonstrates an artistic voice, perspective, or aesthetic that is not substantially represented in the current collection. So just a note on contracting, artist semifinalists will be contracted to create their proposals or to respond to the request for proposals. Because there are 5 locations, there will be 3 semifinalists for each location that will then be asked to submit to the request for proposals portion of this project. The final commission for this project will be broken out into 2 contracts with Houston Arts Alliance, one for design phase and one for construction phase. The selected artists must be able and willing to sign contracts for design and commission. And you can see samples of these contracts, which are linked in the application via Submittable, or on the RFQ PDF, which is on the HA website. You can also see versions of those contracts there. So this is our timeline for the project, and these dates are subject to change. There are a lot of moving parts with these opportunities and a lot of scheduling of people, and so sometimes these dates don't always align. We do try our very best to stay as close to these dates as possible, but they are subject to change, and we will keep artists informed and notified as the changes come about as we can. So we are currently, the RFQ was released on last Friday. We are currently on our first info session on March 10th. We will have another info session on March 19th, which is a Saturday. And again, this presentation will be posted online. Should you miss anything and need to come back. Our deadline for questions is March 30th. And then I believe we will have all questions answered by April 6th. And then the RFQ submission deadline is April 11th. So then there's a process where the panel reviews the RFQs. And at this time, we have RFQ notifications going out in May. The 15 artists who will be semifinalists, again, there are going to be 3 semifinalists for each location, will have access to the request for proposals May 9th as well. And then they will have about a month and a half to complete their request for proposals, and that deadline is June 24th. The artists that move into request for proposal stage will be given, they will be giving artist proposal presentations to present their proposals to the panel, as well as other stakeholders in this project and within each of the entities. And then selection approvals takes about a month to happen. The selected artist notification will be sent by HAA early September, and then project completion for each of these 5 locations currently is December 2023. Just a quick note about selection and approval process. So finalist proposals will be reviewed by a selection panel. During the RFP portion of this, the 3 arts professionals plus a sponsoring department representative, which is the Houston Airport System, and a community representative who will be identified by MOCA will review the final proposals. We take that recommendation of the panel to the Civic Art Committee. We present the entire process to them. They vote to be sure that we as a division, as the Civic Art and Design division, did our due diligence and followed our process closely. The Civic Art Committee of HAA then votes on our process, not on the artists. The panelists are the ones who choose the artist. That recommendation then gets taken to the HAA Board of Directors for a second pair of eyes to look at the process, make sure that we have done everything we said we were going to do, and we did it as justly and equitably as possible. And then that recommendation of the artists for each of those locations will be presented to the City of Houston, who has final approval of those artists. Just some FAQs that we get, some frequently asked questions that we get. We get a lot of questions about what an RFQ is. This opportunity and many of our commissioning opportunities are what you consider a 2-tiered process. The first tier of this is a request for qualifications. It is an open call in the first phase of a 2-phase artist selection process to determine awardees for a commissioned project. The FAQ application only requires an artist or artist team to provide information and images on prior works. Again, we are not asking for proposals at this time. We are only wanting to see the works that you have already completed as an artist. Additionally, the artist will be asked to provide a short statement of intent where the artist can provide a personal understanding of the project goals, a personal understanding of the site, and an explanation of why your work would be appropriate for this project. You can also include any prior experience with projects of similar scope, a type or caliber of your work, of your working methodology. Maybe you include your philosophical approach to public art. Again, your personal understanding of project goals and project sites, why you're interested in this particular project, and what excites you about that. So that's really what we want to see in that letter of intent, or the panel rather. The panel will then select semifinalists from the RFQ applicant pool to advance to the RFP phase based on the qualifications submitted. Again, there will be 3 semifinalists for each of these locations. So those semifinalists will move into a request for proposals phase. This is the second phase of a 2-phase artist selection process to determine awardees for commissioned projects. Semifinalists will be chosen by the panel and submit to the RFP based on their qualifications. The RFP application requires an artist to provide all necessary and pertinent information regarding the project they are proposing to the panel. This includes, but is not limited to, providing budget breakdowns, renderings, and material samples. Each RFP artist will be granted a proposal stipend to be able to execute their proposal. In this instance, for these opportunities, this stipend is $1,500 per each semifinalist. And the panel will pick the top scoring artist to recommend to the City of Houston and sponsoring department for approval. A 2-dimensional artwork. What is a 2-dimensional artwork? This is classified as a piece of work that can be hung on a wall or similar surface and must not exceed 4 inches in depth per ADA guidelines. What is a three-dimensional work? A three-dimensional artwork is classified as a piece of work that is freestanding in the round and complies with ADA guidelines. We've also been asked that the application asks for proof of eligibility and gives suggested documents for non-US citizens, but still requires a section for US citizens. Do US citizens upload a picture of their passport or social security card or leave it blank? All applicants located in the United States must provide documentation demonstrating a physical address in the United States. PO boxes are not accepted. Acceptable documents include state-issued driver's license, a state-issued ID or driver's license, a lease agreement, or phone or utility bill. Within the submittable application, you will have a place to upload these documents. Can we apply to 2 calls or do we have to choose one? You can apply to all of the locations within this call, within this request for qualifications, but you will only be selected for one of the locations. What is US representation? All applicants located outside of the continental United States must provide documentation demonstrating proof of representation from a United States-based organization. These organizations include galleries, agents, managers, or representatives. A signed letter on the representative's letterhead must be uploaded with the following information: explanation of the nature of representation, artist name, physical address, phone number, and email, artist signatures, representative's name, physical address, phone number, and email, and the representative's signature. Again, in submittable, I believe you will denote if you are a representative applying on behalf of an artist, and you will be able to upload this information under the eligibility form. So I'm going to turn it over to questions in just a minute, but should you have questions after this artist info session, we ask that you do not contact the City of Houston's Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. We ask that you direct all inquiries to the Houston Arts Alliance, the Civic Art and Design Department, with the subject line RFQ Inquiry ITRP ICP, and the email is civicart@hatxhelp.zendesk.com. So at this time, I'm going to make my video a little larger, and I'll open it up for questions. If anybody would like to ask, just unmute yourself if you haven't been responded to in the chat.
Quickly, this is Paul Whittle. I have a question regarding eligibility form representative. Does that mean that I would need a representative, i.e. a gallery, someone there who would represent my work? Is that
Only if you're living outside of the continental United States. If you're living in North, Central, or South America, you must have US representation. If you, as an artist, are living and working in the United States of America, you do not need gallery representation.
in Houston?
In Houston, you do not need. It's only for artists living outside the United States.
Oh, I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Let me see. Piper, were there any questions in the chat that maybe we could share?
I think we answered them all. Someone wanted to go back and look at the arrivals. Let me see, which one was it? But Karina sent them the RFQ.
Okay, great. Alton, was there anything that you would like to add, or Teresa? No?
I'd like to add a couple things there. Someone had asked about the departures hall vestibules. and how they relate to each other. And so just kind of, again, it's early on in the process to overthink it, but it is exciting to think about it. So this is really our welcoming moment into the new international terminal ticketing hall. So this is when you're leaving Houston, you will pull up out front, and on one side will be that curbside wall installation. On the other side of this, there will be 3 entrances into this departures hall, and that we're calling the 3 vestibules, and they're all visible from the outside and they're all visible from the inside. And in this particular rendering, it's showing some objects that are suspended there. This could also be something more like plate glass, like stained glass approach to this. So this is just kind of giving the look of it. But again, the artists should consider all of this as like it's a triptych. So it's one big piece, viewable from both inside and outside. And as you said, Grace, we really want to emphasize kind of the amazing light we have here in Texas. So by day, there'll be great light, natural light outdoors, and by night there'll be all the interior light. So this thing will be translucent and be visible from both sides.
I came in a little late, so does this mean that you considered the entire curtain wall to be part of this?
No, it is only the 3 vestibule areas, and the dimensions are given in the RFQ of what those dimensions are, but it's the space, yeah, great, yeah. So it's the space directly above the entrance into this area, and we're calling that D1, 2, and 3. Those are the 3 vestibules.
Thank you for clarification.
Yeah, if you all visit Houston Arts Alliance and go to the funding and services public art tab, each of these locations is online with the dimensions. So you can kind of view them there as well.
And then I'd like to also add, Grace, if I may, there was some conversation yesterday with Piper about the garage level areas. So we specifically are wording this as a wall installation. The spaces are quite large. They're I think about 200 feet long. Yeah, there's one of them. So we're really looking at this as a wall installation. Is that mosaic? Is that some kind of surface that's added onto this? What we're not looking for is kind of your typical, for lack of a better descriptive word, like street murals. We're really looking for an art installation that goes on this wall and really makes that has the durability factor that Grace mentioned. We want this to be super durable. This, anything within the airport is subjected to people with their baggage not paying attention and bumping into things, as well as this is outdoors. It is covered, so it'll be exposed though to some elements, hot and cold, as well as exhaust and those kind of things from vehicles. So really consider durability when you're showing your similar type work.
Thank you. I believe there are a few hands raised. I saw that Lynn had a hand up.
Hi, I just
Yeah.
reiterated my question in the chat, but yeah, what my question there.
Lynn, we're getting a lot of feedback. We can't hear you. Sorry.
Lynn did ask a question in the chat. Some of the wall areas are huge. Do you expect the artwork to fill up the dimensions given in the RFQ, or just part of it? Okay.
Alton, do you want to speak to that?
Again, at this point, this is just qualifications, right? So we just want to see similar work that you've done before to get an idea. But in general, yes, these budgets are very substantial. So we really anticipate substantial artworks.
Thank you.
We also have another question. Does a sculpture at the pet area need to be animal themed? From Vivian.
No, it does not. We just put the Jeff Koons piece in there because we thought it was funny. But again, outdoors, consider that it is a pet area, so maybe pets would be appropriate, but also, It's Texas. There's a lounge. There's some seating out there, so people will be out there that don't have pets. It's just kind of an outdoor sitting and hanging out area. You might be waiting there for your ride to arrive. Again, it is covered, but it is outdoors, so it's exposed to the hot and the cold and all those kinds of things. But yeah, there's the picture. Thanks, Grace.
Yeah. Any other questions while we have a little bit of time?
There was a question in the chat. Someone asked if it was if they're accepted, are they able to work on site for extended time?
I answered that on direct message.
And there's another one that says, does the wall installation need to be ADA within 4 inches projection?
Yes. Anything that has a slight relief has to be within that dimension.
I think those were all the questions in the chat, right?
Again, if you all, oh, go ahead.
Oh, one other one just came up. She said, how detailed does the proposal regarding ideas need to be? Do you want to answer that, Grace?
Yeah, again, we are in the request for qualifications portion of the project. Should you go to the request for proposal stage, we will have another submission form with all the information as to how much detail we want you to get into. But again, for right now, we are just asking for a request for qualifications. We want to see what works you've already completed as an artist, so the panel can score that.
And I'll just add a little bit to that. Sorry, again, my name is Teresa Escobedo. I'm here from MOCA. This is an opportunity at this stage to put forth your best foot. What makes you right for this opportunity? What can you show in terms of previous work that would leverage the case you're making for yourself? So right now we're looking about your history, how you present yourself, how you'd like to be included in this potential, less so about what idea you have for the art at this point. Initial idea, loose idea, even that can be included, but I would really think about how you're representing yourself as an artist who's capable of completing a project of this level.
Thank you, Teresa. That's a good note. Any other questions at this time?
I will also type it or send the direct link to our website in the chat. So if you want to go ahead and grab that and bookmark it.
And again, we will be posting this info session on our website. We'll get a link up so that you can watch this again should you need to. And we will be accepting questions until the end of the month. So again, you can email civicart at haatxhelp.zendesk.com, and we will reply to your questions as soon as possible. So if there aren't any last questions, I would just want to say thank you all today for joining us and for giving your time and learning more about these opportunities. Feel free to stay in touch through our newsletter and social media for HAA. And yeah, unless there isn't anything else, we just thank you for being here.
Quickly, my name is Paul Woodall. Regarding the 19th and the next meeting, what time would that be?
That is at 11 o'clock. And it will be the exact same presentation that we saw here today.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and end the meeting. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you, Alton and Teresa, for joining us today. Bye.